Let me ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever achieved something you were genuinely proud of, only to feel like the room got a little colder when you shared it? You finally bought that new car, got that promotion, started that business. But instead of loud cheers, you got forced smiles. Instead of support, you got silence. And maybe even a few sarcastic "must be nice" comments. Why is it that when you start climbing higher in life, some people around you don't clap, they just stare? Why does your success often feel lonelier than your struggle? Jack Ma, billionaire founder of Alibaba and one of the most resilient entrepreneurs in the world, has a message most people aren't ready to hear. Your success threatens people's comfort zones, and most people don't cheer when they feel threatened. They watch, they whisper, they wait for you to fall. Let's talk about it. Phase 1. Your growth makes others uncomfortable. Inspired by Jack Ma's teachings. Jack Ma once said, "When you are small, people will ignore you. When you grow, people will envy you. When you're successful, people will hate you." And he wasn't being negative, he was just being honest. Here's the hard truth. When you start leveling up financially, emotionally, spiritually, it doesn't just challenge the status quo of your life. It challenges the comfort zone of everyone around you. Suddenly your old friends start acting different, not because you changed, but because you didn't stay the same. And that difference, it reminds them of everything they've put off, ignored, or failed to pursue. Let me paint you a picture. You and your best friend both graduated at the same time. Both were broke. Both had dreams, but 5 years later, you took some risks, read more books, saved more money. Now you're doing well, traveling, investing, thinking long-term. Your friend, still living paycheck to paycheck, still scrolling on social media for escape, still hanging with the same crowd, doing the same things. Now here's the twist. You assumed they'd be happy for you. Instead, you feel distance, awkward silence, fewer messages. They're busy, they don't relate anymore. But Jack Ma was right. Success makes enemies, not because of what you did wrong, but because of what others didn't do right. Your success becomes a mirror that reflects what others have avoided. And most people hate mirrors when they don't like what they see. Real life example. The silent competition. Imagine this. You walk into a family gathering after buying your first property. You're proud, but you sense the shift. Uncles suddenly start throwing subtle jabs. Be careful, the market crashes every few years. A mortgage. That's not really owning anything. Don't get too cocky. Life humbles everyone. Why? Because your growth, even if unspoken, feels like a spotlight on their stagnation. Not because you did anything wrong, but because success, when seen by the unprepared, can feel like a threat. Just like Jack Ma explained, the biggest resistance often doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people who once stood beside you. Why you should keep your wins to yourself. Jack Ma emphasizes the importance of staying humble, not just out of wisdom, but out of survival. Here's what he teaches. The higher you go, the more careful you must be. Success invites attention, and attention is not always admiration. Let that sink in. Success doesn't always attract support. It attracts spectators. Some people don't follow you to cheer. They follow you to keep tabs, to see if you'll slip, to see if your blessings last, and if you fail, they'll be the first to say, "I knew it, so what's the solution?" Don't broadcast every victory. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Your wins are sacred, and sacred things don't belong in every room. Jack Ma puts it this way. When you're strong, pretend to be weak. When you're rich, pretend to be poor. When you win, pretend to lose. It protects you. Your journey is not a TV show for the world to critique. It's your story, and not everyone deserves front row seats. Why people are addicted to your problems, not your progress. Let's be honest. Good news doesn't go viral. Drama does. Turn on any news channel, and you'll see what Jack Ma described as a global addiction to negativity. Bad news sells. Good news makes people yawn. People don't crowd around when you say, "I'm doing great," but say, "I lost my job," and suddenly the phone starts ringing. Why? Because most people feel more connected to your pain than your power, more entertained by your struggle than your success. It's sad but true. People want to see a comeback story, but they want to see you fall first. They'll cheer you on after they've seen you crawl through the mud. That's why Jack Ma often warns against craving public validation. Do not let compliments get to your head, and do not let criticism get to your heart, because both can be traps. Compliments can seduce you into complacency, and criticism can poison your momentum. But the loudest danger, the silent observers, the ones who say nothing at all, grow quietly, win wisely. Jack Ma built Alibaba through failure, ridicule, and being misunderstood. He applied for 30 jobs and got rejected from all of them. Even KFC said no. But he learned early, your path is your path. Don't expect others to understand it. Just walk it. Here's what that means for you. Stop oversharing your progress. Everyone doesn't deserve the details of your success. Let your results speak. You don't need to defend or explain. Stay grounded. The higher you climb, the more humility you need. Know the difference between fans and friends. Some are just spectators in disguise. And most importantly, don't let the silence of others make you doubt your own voice. If they clap, cool. If they don't, grow anyway. If people don't celebrate your growth, let that be your confirmation. You're no longer where they are, and that's not a bad thing. That's progress. As Jack Ma said, today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. Most people give up tomorrow. Just make sure you survive long enough to see your sunshine. If this message hit home, if it made you think twice about who's really clapping for you, then do me one small favor. Like this video so it reaches someone else who needs this truth. Subscribe for more real, raw, and life-changing wisdom based on Jack Ma's principles. Because in a world full of noise, we're building clarity, one truth at a time. Let that settle for a moment, because in this second phase of growth, the battlefield isn't about who supports you. It's about learning to recognize who doesn't without ever saying a word. The danger of silence, when I'm just chillin', means I hope you fail. You've heard it before. I'm not gonna say anything, I'll just sit back. Let me stay quiet. We'll see how long it lasts. Sounds harmless, right? But let's decode that using Jack Ma's lens. These statements aren't always about humility or wisdom. Sometimes, they're quiet resentment in disguise. Jack Ma once shared that the more you rise, the more attention you attract. But not all attention is admiration. Some is silent surveillance. People watching, waiting, hoping that the next chapter of your life turns into a plot twist. And when you're doing well, especially in business, career, relationships, or finances, you'll notice this silence more than ever. Why? Because clapping for you costs them something. Their pride, their illusion of competition, their own excuses. When success becomes a solo journey, imagine this. You finally landed your dream role after years of grinding in silence. You post about it online. You're expecting a flood of love, but the response, crickets. A few likes, a heart emoji from your mum, maybe a congrats from your college roommate, and then nothing. No shares, no wow, I knew you'd do it. No messages from those who once called you fam, but had it been a post about a breakup, a failure, or a tearful rant, your inbox would have been flooded. This is what Jack Ma meant when he said, people celebrate your failure because it reminds them they're not alone, but your success, that reminds them they've been standing still. The followers versus fans illusion. Here's a trap Jack Ma warns all young entrepreneurs and dreamers to avoid. Don't confuse attention with loyalty. Just because someone follows you doesn't mean they follow you. In today's noisy world, you may have 10,000 followers, but only 10 genuine supporters. People love the highlight reel but avoid the hard work. They'll double tap your struggles, but scroll past your triumphs. Let's be real. Some people only want to be around when you're down, because your pain makes them feel safe. It makes them feel superior. It makes them feel needed. But the moment you start winning, when you no longer need validation, when you start glowing in your purpose, they vanish, or worse, they watch, waiting for a misstep. Jack Ma's insight: work in silence, let results be the noise. Jack Ma often warns against putting your success on a public stage too soon, because some people will only love you when you're losing, and others will only want to be around when you're winning. Neither are stable, and neither are for you. Here's what that means. Got a promotion? Awesome. Celebrate in private. Started a business? Good. Don't announce it until it's built. Closed your first real estate deal? Beautiful. Let your bank account celebrate with you. Jack Ma teaches, not every victory requires applause. Some wins are sacred. Treat them that way. The two-faced nature of social media. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, social media. It's where we brag about our wins, hoping for love, complain about our losses, fishing for sympathy, share highlight reels, hoping someone sees our light. But Jack Ma reminds us that platforms don't guarantee connection. They create illusion. In this digital age, many people are more addicted to being seen than being secure. Every time you post your achievements, ask yourself, am I posting this to inspire? Or am I posting this to feel validated? Because here's the real test. What happens when you post your success and no one says a word? Are you still proud? Or does your pride deflate when it doesn't get likes? Because if it deflates, it wasn't pride. It was dependency. Energy management, protecting your peace from people's projections. You don't owe everyone access to your joy. Not every win deserves an audience. Because some people aren't applauding, they're just calculating, plotting, projecting their insecurities onto your elevation. Jack Ma's approach is simple yet powerful. Silence is not weakness, it is protection. Protect what? Your peace from other people's projections, your purpose from other people's opinions, your progress from unnecessary attention. Flipping the script when they don't clap, clap for yourself. Not getting applause. Good. Now you know who's who. The truth is, your journey won't always be broadcasted. It'll be quiet, lonely, unseen. But Jack Ma says, what matters isn't who notices your journey. It's whether you're walking it with integrity. So here's the truth. Not everyone will clap for you. Not everyone will be happy for you. And that's okay, because your journey isn't about proving anything to them. It's about honoring the person you're becoming. Jack Ma taught us that silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's quiet jealousy. Sometimes it's concealed envy. And sometimes it's just people hoping to see your blessings run dry. But you're not building for applause. You're building for legacy. So keep growing, keep evolving, keep your peace protected and your purpose private. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt seen, understood, or empowered, then do one thing. Tap the like button to let YouTube know this message matters. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another real, raw, Jack Ma-inspired truth like this one. And most importantly, share this with someone who's winning in silence, but needs to be reminded they're not alone. Because not everyone will clap, but someone out there, they need your courage to keep going. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you.